Hello everyone, my name is Totta and this is my voice. Today is going to be my second attempt at making a video about stimming. I'll open it up by just reading the Wikipedia explanation of what stimming is. Self-stimulatory behavior, also known as stimming and self-stimulation, is the repetition of physical movements, sounds, words, or moving objects. Such behaviors, also scientifically known as stereotypies, are found in people with developmental disabilities and are especially frequent in people on the autism spectrum. Alright, so it's repetitive sensory behavior, basically. Almost everyone does this, whether you're on the spectrum or not. It's regular things that you might do as a neurotypical when you get stressed, like bouncing your leg up and down or clicking a pen that you just do over and over. Except it's very, very much more common for people on the spectrum. And I don't just do it when I'm stressed, although I do it when I'm stressed to a certain degree. I do it just when I feel good, because stimming feels nice. As I've spoken about before, I think that things that only happen once are inherently shocking. We're programmed to find a one-time occurrence as scary, as opposed to something that happens clearly in a repetitive manner, where you can see it repeating over and over. That is inherently calming because we know what's going to happen. We don't need to fear it. That's my own little theory on why this repetition is so nice. For me, it's tough when I don't stim. I tend to not do it in public, or at least when I'm in public, do my so-called invisible stims, like pulling my earrings or smaller things. Maybe I can do like with my hands in my pockets that people won't notice. I do bounce my leg though, and if I can't bounce my leg, I bounce my foot, like even if it's not on the ground, I'll like flex it and just flutter it. I'll do this when I'm laid in bed as well, and it's not a sign of stress for me. It just feels good, which is weird because when people see me doing it, see me bouncing my leg or such, they'll often go, "Oh, you stressed out?" I'm like, no, I thought maybe I could do something nice for a second, but I guess it's stressing you out, so I'll stop. Well, I mean, most people are okay with me doing my little things. But the thing that's so tough for me about stimming in public is that I'm very aware of how my stims look, and according to the norms that we've set as a society for what is respectable behavior and how you would walk into a room and command respect, the autistic body language doesn't have a seat at that table. Let's just say that. If I were to go into a really official setting and wear clothes that I wanted to actually wear because the way they feel against my skin, I wouldn't probably not be dressed formally according to the standards that we have. If I were forced to sit in a chair, I'd probably curl up. Like right now, I've got both my legs folded underneath me. I don't like sitting with both feet down. It's torture. I'd be bouncing one foot like I am now under the table. I'd be doing these constant like rubbing that I enjoy. I'd probably not be looking people in the eye, and the result would be that somebody from a neurotypical perspective would look at me and go, "Oh, that's a really nervous person who doesn't know how to carry themselves and is too afraid to look people in the eyes." I'm not afraid. I'm not nervous. This is just my body language, but I know that it is interpreted as something that I don't mean. I've tried to come up with a simile to kind of explain it. It's like as if neurotypicals speak English natively. Let's just say that English is their language and they all communicate speaking English. I natively speak French. And I've learned English so that when I need to interact with neurotypicals, I can speak English to them and they understand me. And then when I get to a point where I say, oh, actually, I natively speak French, they all go, oh, but you don't have an accent. Your English is so good. I'm like, yeah, because I've practiced. And my flavor of autism is one where I can mask heavily, aka I can pretend to speak English very well. And when somebody asks me to relax and be more honest and not mask and openly stim in front of them, if they're neurotypical, it's like they're saying this to me in English and I'm in my head going like, okay, so I'll start speaking French to you, but you won't understand anything that I'm saying then. Because I've learned English, the English speakers have not learned French. So I don't like the idea that I will be misunderstood. I don't want to be taken less seriously. I don't want people to think that I'm afraid of looking into their eyes because I'm a fidgety, nervous, anxious wreck. It's like, no, I listen better when I don't look into your eyes. Lick into your eyes. Jesus Christ, don't lick in anyone's eyeball, please. Look into their eyes. But as I was coming up with a simile, it struck me that if the people who speak French, like me, never talk about the French language, it's going to be quite literally impossible for the English speakers to learn French. So what I'm saying is, even though to start off with, right now the way that the world looks and what mainstream media and society knows about autism, it's at a point where it will be uncomfortable perhaps to try and rebrand what stimming is. But it's necessary so that we will move forward. I wish that it was so common to see autistic people stimming, sorry about that, that it wouldn't in any way lessen the respect that the person interacting with the autistic person had. Because that's the main thing for me. I don't know why it's such a big deal for me, but the idea of people losing respect for me because of how I act is very frightening to me. I've actively, through my entire life, worked very hard to carry myself in a certain way that will ensure that people respect me when I walk into the room. I have allowed myself to be the right amount of quirky, to be disarming, but still firm enough that people know that I'm a stable person that they can rely upon. And none of that is false. It's just I look and act weirder if I were to not mask. And masking is draining and actively dangerous to the mental health of autistic people. So it's just a necessary thing to work through. So one of the things that I do is this. Any place where there's skin, just to preface this as well, I know that all of these things are gonna sound weird to a neurotypical. I'm very aware. Skin, where you don't really have any sense, like you can press together as much as you can. Always love pressing that, so I'll often sit and just press that. Same thing, press actively very hard. My fingers like around my ear, the skin on my elbows. I really like clapping, but not clapping to actually make sound. I just clap the parts where the kind of undersides of my knuckles come out. and bash them against each other. I like tapping my nose. You'll see often in videos I do this as if my nose is itchy. My nose isn't itchy. I just really like the sensation of touching the bridge of my nose. I hand flap. I don't feel comfortable showing that though. I do a lot of, I really like running my fingers into my hair, lifting it up and then putting it down, running in, lifting up, putting down. All the leg bouncing, pulling my earrings. One that I really like doing it, but I really don't like doing it in public because I feel like it's not a very adult thing to do, but I often wear long earrings and I'll pull them and I'll lay them in like the crease of my lips to where it fits perfectly, and then I'll just pull it away, and I'll do that over and over and over again, often until I realize that somebody's watching me, and then I'll go, oh shit, not in public. But yeah, I'm getting really sweaty and anxious just talking about this. There are endless more stims that I do. But basically, I just think it's important that people are allowed to be open with their stimming, because it gives so much joy and comfort. And just imagining the amount of joy and calmness and good vibes that you could give to the entire autistic community if you just allowed stimming to be okay. It's inspiring to think about. So even though I don't really feel completely comfortable yet stimming in front of people, I am working on it actively, because I do not want this to be the case for autistic children when they grow up. I want the future to be better. Weird bit of an unpopular opinion, wanting the world to be a better place in the future. Mind-boggling concept. Sorry, I know I'm not very original. But yeah, that'll be it for the video. Thank you so much as well for being so accepting of my time off during Christmas and New Year's Eve. It was very stressful. It's filled with such good vibes, but it was extremely draining navigating all of the social circles that I move in over the holidays. I reached a point where I was like, I'm wafer thin to completely just breaking down. If one more interaction comes at me, I will not be able to handle it. And I got a text message and I just completely broke down from a text message. It wasn't even that, I didn't even read the message, I just heard the bling and I was like, oh. It was one too many for what I could take. But I'm better at like recognizing my limits now, even though I think I pushed a bit past them. But at least I could I stepped back from the things that I could step back from, and I'm starting to feel more like myself again. So yeah, thanks for with the awkward outros. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.